What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got some great information and discussion for you, but before we get into anything, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first. And we're going to go ahead and get right into the big news, and that is another big Atlus game is heading over to the Nintendo Switch and also PC, plus the PlayStation 4 platform. So yes, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax is coming back, and for the first time ever, it's going to be on the Nintendo Switch when it comes to the Persona fighting series. So very exciting to see this Xbox 360/PS3 game coming out on the Nintendo Switch. And trust me, this is going to lead to a bit more, which we're going to talk about after we go over what this game is about. So Atlus will release Persona 4 Arena Ultimax for the PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC via Steam on March 17, 2022, worldwide for $29.99, the company did announce. Now, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax first launched for arcade in Japan back in November of 2013 and was later ported to the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. And here's a little bit of an overview of the game. The stakes are ultimate, the tension is maximum, and the fight is Ultimax. Experience the latest entry in the beloved Persona 4 series with a thrilling fighting twist. Join the heroes as they combat an army of shadows in the P1 climax. Here are the key features of the game. Ultimax version, which includes all previously released Persona 4 Arena Ultimax content, including the original Persona 4 Arena story. A deep roster of playable characters, Persona 3 fan favorites, and shadow versions offer a range of fighting styles to choose from. You also have dual audio. You can choose between the Japanese and English voiceovers, in addition to Steam achievements and trading cards as well. So it's pretty cool to see this big Persona spin-off slash somewhat main story type of stuff in there. Anyway, spin-off game for the most part when it comes to the type of game come over to the Nintendo Switch. And this is part of the Persona 25th anniversary. They are just getting going. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably typing away at the keyboard before I can even finish this video to discuss Persona 5 Royal and also Persona 4 Golden and what's going on here, but we need to look at the big picture. A lot of you guys are just looking at the end result and looking at that, and I understand, I completely get that, but this is the big picture on why this is a big announcement combined with everything else that I've talked about when it comes to Atlus and what they're doing. I had a few videos not too long ago talking about how Atlus with the Nintendo Switch, or at least the Switch, has completely changed how Atlus is operating. I also discussed how there needs to be some other stuff that they're doing when it comes to porting over, that they're taking a bit too long, they need to bring stuff over to the Switch, and now you combine that with the recent sales numbers that has been going down in Japan. Nintendo has pretty much been dominating that arena when it comes down to it. Nintendo Switch is doing so well. This is going to accelerate the ports and accelerate the type of content that comes over to the Nintendo Switch platform. Now, in the first couple years of the Nintendo Switch, what did we get from Atlus? Pretty much nothing. We had an announcement of Shin Megami Tensei V, and that was about it. But over the last 2.5 years or so, we've gotten a number of good ports on the platform, from Catherine Full Body all the way to the announcements of 13 Sentinels, plus also this one as well, in addition to Shin Megami Tensei V being released, and also stuff like Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster. So in the past couple years, there has been a number of good Atlus games being ported over to the platform, and a lot faster than what you should usually see from Atlus. So what does this mean? That they have their in-house port studios ready, they have their Switch development kits ready, and honestly, I think it's just a matter of time before we do see some of these other games come over to the Nintendo Switch and to the PC as well, whether it be Persona 4 Golden, which is already on PC, but bring that over to the PlayStation 4 and bring that over to the Nintendo Switch, in addition to Persona 5 Royal coming out on PC and also Nintendo Switch, which would probably be a bigger undertaking than anything else Atlus has ever done, considering the type of content and the amount of stuff that's just in that game just in general when it comes down to it, at least between that and Shin Megami Tensei V if that goes over to other platforms. So it's something that is definitely going to happen in my opinion, because they have these port games ready to go. They've been continuing to support the Nintendo Switch platform. This is something that I'm looking at. We went from almost nothing when it comes to games being released to, in the past couple years, getting quite a number of announcements in addition to actual releases. Persona 5 Strikers is another game. Can't forget that game. That was a fantastic announcement in game as well. So I think that Atlus is finally getting things into gear. We know that Sega wanted to make sure that they decided to port more games over to PC, Nintendo Switch, consoles, have more multi-platform releases, and this is exactly how they're going to get it done with high-quality games like 13 Sentinels and also like Persona 4 Arena Ultimax coming over, and of course coming to the Nintendo Switch because it makes complete sense. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, or if you didn't see the news, the Nintendo Switch sold over 200,000 units in Japan just for the past week alone, outselling all other systems by a very large margin, and actually to the point to where Nintendo Switch owns 99% of the market in Japan. If you're looking at that, and if you have older games that you want to bring over, it makes absolutely zero sense to not bring over those games to a platform as big and as popular with as much momentum that the Nintendo Switch has, which is why we're seeing this. In the past, this would have skipped Nintendo platforms, right? Because even back when they released this Ultimax version, the Wii U was out. Back in 2013, the Wii U was out and they didn't put it on the Wii U. They didn't make anything for the Nintendo 3DS, which of course makes sense, but they didn't do anything on there either, and they didn't put it out there. So I'm actually very happy about this because this game does have a story. It does have a very cool story or single player mode to play through. It's actually a really good game. I've played quite a bit of it myself. I have it on the PlayStation 3, so I'm really excited to get this on the Nintendo Switch and of course play it on the system and just get more Atlus support. So I'm gonna buy it, and it's only $29.99, which is really cool. I mean, they probably could have got 40 bucks for this game, but they put it down to $29.99, so I do like that about it, although it doesn't seem like there's going to be any like big or extra added content, so it makes sense to make it at $29.99 for this one here. So really awesome stuff there from Atlus. I do foresee in the future that there will be more Atlus titles on the Nintendo Switch. We will get some more mainline Persona games, whether that's Persona 3, Persona 4, Persona 5 in the future. I think it's more of a when, not an if, when it comes down to it, because of the amount of announcements that we've been getting when it comes to Atlus and the Nintendo Switch platform and PC to an extent as well. So what do you guys think about this when it comes to this big announcement from Atlus with Persona 4 Arena Ultimax? And what do you see for the future when it comes down to it? We do have the Persona 25th anniversary that's going to be celebrated this year and next year. I think 2022 is going to be a big year. And one more thing that I do want to close out on when it comes to what I'm saying here with this, I think that Shin Megami Tensei V was a huge undertaking for Atlus and was a huge, I would say, budget for them when it comes down to it. And they wanted to make sure that they got that game off and nothing really interfered when it comes to other big RPGs that they're releasing. They wanted everything kind of into Shin Megami Tensei V and get that game going and have the best launch and allocate the most money that they could to get that game off the ground. And I think that 2022, once the game, of course, sales slow down and everything like that, and they've gotten that launch out of the way, they can move on to the other projects that won't take away from what SMT5 is doing. So I think that's also part of it as well. So I think people need to be a bit more patient, but I do see good things in the future when it comes to Atlus support on the Nintendo Switch, because we're already seeing it right here. We've gotten two big announcements when it comes to 13 Sentinels and Persona 4 Arena Ultimax in the past like month. So that's pretty good already, and I think that there's going to be even more next year. So what do you guys think about this when it comes to Persona 4 Arena Ultimax and the future with Nintendo Switch, PC, PlayStation, and more with Atlus and Persona and their other games? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, we've got a very big addition to Shin Megami Tensei V that makes it a lot better to play, and plus I've got a few tips for you guys when it comes down to getting the most out of this game in terms of how to play it with a certain piece of hardware or controller. So recently Atlus did an update for Shin Megami Tensei V. You can go there and download it right now at this point, and that's going to update it to version 1.0.2. Now, in this update, there's some minor gameplay fixes and bug fixes and everything, but the biggest thing here is the field of view slider and, to a lesser extent, the brightness slider. But the big thing here is the field of view slider and also an additional tweak to the Demon King's lair with the whole wind gimmick puzzle, which is quite possibly the worst design when it comes to level design in Shin Megami Tensei V, is that Demon King puzzle or that Demon Lair puzzle. So if you're not there yet, cool, it's going to be easier for you. If you already passed it up, well, you beat it without doing that. And if you're there right now, well, there you go. You're going to be able to beat it easier. But personally, from a gameplay, from a user, like just what I like to play, I thought that place was terrible. So I'm actually happy that they actually patched that one. But when it comes to the big thing here, guys, it's the field of view. The field of view, what that means is that you can actually zoom out more on the camera when it comes to Nahobino and his surroundings. I think part of what can mix people up when it comes to Shin Megami Tensei V is how zoomed in it is on the character. So you can't see as much of the environment when you're trying to collect things or if you're exploring. But with the field of view slider, you can zoom it all the way out to where you get a good, nice look at everything around you, to where you don't get mixed up as much when it comes to your surroundings and everything there. So it's really cool. And I found it to be a lot better with that field of view, playing it that way instead of having it zoomed in. So there's a slider, you can put it to as far as you want or as close as you want. So that's really good. And you can combine that with certain type of TVs, might be darker or lighter than usual. There's a brightness slider on there, so that can help you out as well if you have like certain TVs with really high brightness ranges and everything. So that's very good that they added this. Now I do want to add one more thing in here, because I think that this makes the game, along with this update, makes it a lot better. And it's a hardware edition here, guys, and that is the SN30 Pro, hashtag not sponsored video. The SN30 Pro, I actually used it for the first time with this update with Shin Megami Tensei V, and I think that is the ideal way to play the game when it comes to a controller, because the D-pad on that controller is better than what the Nintendo Switch Pro controller offers, and it gives you a more symmetrical, I would say, movement if you want to use the D-pad with the analog stick. Because the SN30 Pro, I reviewed it on the channel for a game like Hades, for example. It's really good for a game like that. But I think for this game, the D-pad is really good because you're going to be picking from a selections like RPG menu, right? And using an analog stick to go up and down and left and right, it's okay. It can be done. I've done it with my Nintendo Switch Pro controller, the official one that Nintendo has, for 100 hours plus on SMT5. But I use the SN30 Pro controller, SN30 Pro Plus controller, and goodness gracious, it was just a lot better with that nice and stable D-pad that they have on there that just feels really good to use. So I highly recommend updating the Shin Megami Tensei V to the newest updated build, along with the SN30 Pro Plus controller. If you get that and combine those two, you're going to get a much better gameplay experience with Shin Megami Tensei V that even makes an already crazy good game, which is right up there with my game of the year. It's one of the best RPGs that I've ever played. I've got tons of content. If you guys want to watch my content that I've already done on it when it comes to reviews and everything, it already makes a game that was already that good to me even better with these updates here. So it's something that is a must do when it comes down to it. And of course, you guys can check out the SN30 Pro Plus controller. It's on Amazon. It's on various different places. It's a very good controller, has good battery life, very easy to operate and navigate and everything, and it feels great in your hands, especially if you're someone that doesn't have little hands. I mean, if you do, it'll still be okay, but if you have medium to bigger size hands, I have big hands, it's so much more comfortable at times when it comes to the functional use in certain games, especially a game like Shin Megami Tensei V, where the D-pad is really better for picking the options on an RPG menu. So I have to recommend that SN30 Pro Plus controller for a game like this to make it even better. So awesome stuff there. So what are your thoughts when it comes to what's going on with Atlus and also with Shin Megami Tensei V, this really good update for the game? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and we will see you for the next video. Peace.